What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video I want to talk about Skull and Bones yet again. I've made actually quite a few videos on Skull and Bones on my time here on YouTube, and it's a game franchise that I really want to see at this point, right? That I really don't want to be dead. I've tried to keep the hope alive for this game as long as humanly possible, and we are approaching, honestly, a pretty pivotal moment in Skull and Bones' history, if you even want to call what we've gotten so far as history. But this is a game, obviously, that was highly touted, right, as this, I guess in a way, open world, right, because that's kind of what this game was, but this game was going to be this pirate game, and it's obviously gone off the grid for a very, very long time. I made a video a little while ago saying, okay, do we get anything? Do we get literally any discussion Skull and Bones in 2020? Is this something that could actually happen? And I said, I actually don't remember what I said in that video, but I'm going to assume what I said was, I hope so. I hope we get something, because we know from internally, even Jason Schreier, formerly of Kotaku, right, the ultimate leaker, he's talked about how the game has been rebooted like 2-3 times. Okay, so the game, when we see it, if we even do see it, this is a game that, when we talk about cancellations, I hate talk. I mean, I actually don't ever talk about cancellations, and there's not oftentimes that many games I've covered on this channel that gets canceled later down the line, right? There's actually zero that I can actually think of. Skull and Bones is definitely the biggest candidate I've ever had on this channel for a game that, you know, I've put all this time into. We've made all these videos of. We've talked about the potential, and obviously it was a very real game, and then all of a sudden it could just get canceled for whatever reason. And, you know, we again heard from him that this game has been rebooted 2-3 times. That's not good. That's not good. So the next time we see this game, it's going to be very, very different from the game that we once saw. Okay, we saw like a couple of years ago. Now, the thing you have to think of, so this is indeed part of my Ubisoft forward kind of lead into, okay, right? We talked about Prince of Persia, we talked about Splinter Cell, we talked about all these different, Ubisoft titles, and for all of these games, one of the main things I talk about is, okay, Ubisoft is a publisher, is a company that talks about their games in a very short window, so it's the games that are coming out relatively soon. So we know we're going to get Assassin's Creed. In fact, I believe people in the media yesterday got to play Watch Dogs and got to play Assassin's Creed, and so they can talk about it. Now, remember, there's obviously the Assassin's Creed leaked gameplay as well. So we have a lot of things going on with other things Ubisoft, and with how they do it is they're only going to talk about the games coming out over the next little while. So Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, talk about Far Cry, probably Far Cry 6, right? I mean, obviously that's a slam dunk. That's one of the worst kept secrets in gaming as of right now. We obviously even know probably the villain of the game, right? So they're going to be doing that. When it comes to after that, we know all the games that they're going to be releasing before March of 2021, I guess including March of 2021, which is also going to include Far Cry 6. Okay, we don't know April onward. So Skull and Bones, it's again the same situation I talk about when I say Splinter Cell or Prince of Persia is, if Skull and Bones is coming out, it cannot come out before March of 2020. So April of 2021 is the first time that we could be able to get it. Now, again, are we going to get it April of 2021? I don't think so. The thing, I guess, helping it out a little bit is if you were going to have a game in the middle of a crisis kind of situation, not the game crisis, which is also in a crisis of its own, but if you were to have a game in a crisis situation, the best time to probably have it be happening is during this transition into next gen, I believe. Now, again, I'm not a gaming insider. I don't know, hardcore specs of the consoles. I'm not a gaming designer or anything like that. So I don't know how games are made, the intricacies of it. But in my opinion, I feel like in a game that's in a troubled state, like Skull and Bones clearly is, and I for a long time I don't even think I wanted to admit it, but I mean it's blatantly obvious right now, right? The game is in a troubled state, but they're still working on it. It's still something is happening with this game, and I feel like if you're going to ever have that situation when you're jumping from one generation to the next, that may be the best time, because you really do have a chance to re-show it and show it off in a really, really big way, right? I do expect, not even just because it's probably been rebooted, but I do expect the next time we see this game, it is going to be a lot different, and it should be, for one reasoning, because it's jumping consoles, and we haven't seen it for a long time. Honestly, it's one of the things that I'm most excited for Watch Dogs. Now, I think for Watch Dogs, I'm going to be kind of disappointed in the progress, again, because of how I've talked. The game was supposed to come out November of 2019, it got delayed to March, and then March 2020, and then it got delayed indefinitely. So when we see Watch Dogs, personally, for me, I want the game to look like wildly better, right? I want to see, okay, you clearly delayed it, obviously to polish and stuff, but you also ideally delayed it to get it going for next gens, right? Because there should be like a next gen version of it too. So I want to see major improvements. Now again, for Watch Dogs, I feel like I'm going to be let down. I don't feel like it's going to be all that much, excitement for it. For Skull and Bones, I think it actually could help it, because when we see it again, not only is it going to be wildly different for the fact of that they had to, restart. They're like, oh my God, this just, and for the life of me, I don't know why. I guess, obviously the main criticism was that you really couldn't explore, was that literally you're stuck on the ship, you can't sword fight, you can't really board, although there was boarding, but it wasn't going to be like really sophisticated. You really couldn't go on, it wasn't going to be like a Sea of Thieves, right? I mean, even Sea of Thieves is its own, different kind of pirate game, but you really were limited in what you're going to be able to do in Skull and Bones. Now, whether or not, and I guess what I believe probably did happen was they took the criticism, they thought, oh my God, this game is going to fail under its current state, and then they realized, oh, shoot, guys, we actually, like the way we built this game, we can't do the stuff that people want us to do, and then who knows, it maybe fell apart. Maybe Ubisoft told them that it had to come out before a certain time, they couldn't do it, or whatever. I mean, I actually don't think it could be that one, right? Because ideally, Ubisoft is still letting this game continue being made, right? Ideally, it's still being made, so we'll have to see. But when this game comes back, it's going to be different, because it has to be, right? We have to see sword combat, we have to see, yes, still the emphasis on playing with your friends. Remember, that was the whole point of Skull and Bones, was you're a ship, but you're going to have other ships kind of in your squad, and it's going to be other people online. Remember, Tyler and I were super excited about this, so there's a lot of potential there. That probably should still be the focus of this game. Not the sole focus, but it should be the focus. The rest of it needs to be sword fighting, it needs to be boarding, it needs to be going on land. Now, even me, and I have said this in the past, I'm not crazy about going on land. I don't need to really go on like treasure hunts and go on land and find it. It would be cool, and I wouldn't say no to it, and I'm not making fun of it in any way. I just think what I mainly want from this game is sailing around, finding cool things, add some supernatural elements. Again, remember in the first trailer, they kind of hinted at the Kraken. Do that. Definitely go like Pirates of the Caribbean on this game. That's completely cool with me. Have supernatural elements, have the Kraken, have your amazing ship battles, have really cool destructive physics where you can destroy ships, right? But allow people to board. Have there be some sort of sword combat. Even rip it off from Assassin's Creed. Either version, right? You could even do the before Origins Assassin's Creed kind of fighting style, or the more RPG style that they have now. Steal one, pick one of them, and use it. Even if they do that, I think overall it'll be a better experience. But it's going to be different, because it kind of has to be. And then secondly, it's going to be on next gen. It's absolutely going to be probably only on next gen. So the power there, again, what I just talked about, when I'm fighting, I want to, again, imagine like Pirates 3. I want to be in that world where you are seeing, when you get blown up, say, or when like a ship attacks you, if they hit you in a part where like your cannon is, I want to see that cannon fly, and now you can no longer use it. You know what I mean? I want to see people flying from the ship, and now suddenly you have less crew members. I want to see, or it goes through the sail, and then suddenly you can't you literally sail as well, or sail as fast, or whatever. I want those which I think would kind of be considered tiny details, right? And they've done it before. I mean, obviously, if you're getting into a ship battle and you're losing life, maybe there's less cannons being shot from your side. But I want to visually, if I'm on the ship, I want to see it. I want to be able to go down, a couple floors down on the ship. I want to be able to see people loading the cannons in. I want to see them being smacked against the wall if our ship gets attacked. I imagine that. I think that would be insanely cool. I want, again, supernatural. Have us fight against the Kraken. Now, again, don't steal it from Pirates 2, but if you want to do something like that, that's totally cool. Let us, again, be pirates. Let us sail the seas. Let us have these awesome ship fights. Now, again, I want sword fighting. I really just want the most, hardcore, most, realistic ship battles, like cannonball hitting a ship that we've ever seen before. That's what when I first saw this game, that's what I was expecting, and that's what I want from this game. Will I end up getting it? Honestly, I'll be happy if we end up just getting this game at this point. Ultimately, if you want to know, again, if we're talking like predictions for Ubisoft Forward, I will say, I know I just talked your head off for almost 10 minutes about this game, and honestly, in doing so, I got myself way more excited than I should be for a game like this. I don't think we'll see it. I really don't think we'll see it. I think we should, and I think in a way they kind of need to, but I don't think we're going to end up seeing it at Ubisoft Forward. I do think in general, it's going to be, again, it's going to be focused on the short-term games coming immediately, like for next gen and like, the rest for current gen, Far Cry 6, and going from there. Maybe one surprise, and it's what I said with Splinter Cell, it's what I said with Prince of Persia. I don't think we get both Splinter Cell and Prince of Persia because they're kind of the same kind of situation game where it's a game franchise that both of them, they're both game franchises that people want, that have existed before, that have done very, very well, that are in need of whether, not even necessarily like a reboot, but just a continuation. We want more of these games. I think that's why at least one of them will be shown. Do they do one of them and then Skull and Bones? I don't know. I don't know if Skull and Bones is the kind of game, especially with kind of the embarrassment that they've gone through with this game, if it's a kind of game that they say, that they kind of, they kind of openly point out and they say, oh, look, this is a game that clearly failed and we've rebooted it, and oh, here it is again on our show floor. Now, again, it's been done before. There have been games that have gone off the grid for a very long time and they've kind of come back, but I don't know, maybe they're like embarrassed, Like, they could be embarrassed of it. Maybe they don't want to show it. We'll have to see. I feel like with Ubisoft, questions will kind of come up. Firstly, their next like fiscal quarter, like when they talk about how their sales have gone, what to expect from. Once we hear what to expect from like April to June or July, whatever the next quarter is that they end up doing for 2021, like the second quarter, that's when we'll probably hear questions or remarks from them on Skull and Bones. Like, oh, okay, it's not coming again in April or June, so now is it a fall 2021 game, or are you just going to finally give it up? Are you going to tell people, you're going to tell like your investors that, hey, remember that pirate game? Not happening anymore. You know what I mean? So I do feel like we're going to hear about it at least one more time, either to cancel it or hopefully good news. I mean, I'm obviously hoping for good news, but worst case scenarios, we hear about it one more time and they say, okay, it's officially canceled. We've moved that team on to something else. Hopefully that doesn't end up happening. Again, I don't think, though, that it's time to come out of the shadows. Is that Ubisoft 4? I don't think that's what they'll do. I want it to be. I just don't think that that ends up happening. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Skull and Bones is still alive? Do you think it'll be announced again, kind of re-announced at Ubisoft Forward 2020? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up, and follow us on Twitter. I'll leave the Twitter link in the description below if you guys want to follow me over there. I try and send out a couple tweets a day, try and tell you guys upcoming videos on the channel and all things like that. So you guys have not yet followed me on Twitter, again, it'll be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be covering Ubisoft Forward this Sunday. If there's anything Skull and Bones, we'll obviously talk about it. I hope there is, and I hope to see you guys on those videos.